Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to share 5 tips with you that will help prevent and relieve elbow pain in the draw arm. There's 2 big things that I want to make sure you understand in regards to elbow pain on the draw arm. The first and perhaps the most important thing to understand in this video is that elbow pain in the draw arm is a result of those tendons being overwhelmed or overloaded beyond the amount of stress they can handle. That is where we are going to address the root cause, which is getting those tendons willing and able to accept the amount of load and stress you're applying to them every time that you draw and shoot. The second thing to understand is that those tendons that I was talking about that run down and insert at the elbow, they start at the hand and wrist. So most everything we're thinking about for elbow pain on the draw arm relates to the hand and wrist and what we're doing with that hand and wrist, which you're going to see in these 5 tips. Tip number 1, if you're experiencing elbow pain in the draw elbow, is to switch to a release with more fingers. And what I mean by that is if you're shooting a handheld release with just 2 fingers, then go to a release with 3 fingers or even 4 fingers. What that does is it disperses the load of every single draw onto more tendons and more musculature. Picture it like this. If you're shooting 70 pounds with a 2-finger release, that is approximately 35 pounds just going into 2 fingers and less tendons. But as soon as we get to 3 or 4 fingers, now we're dispersing that 70 pounds across more musculature, more tendons, which dampens the intensity of that repetitive stress and load of every single draw. You can even take this a step further and go to a wrist strap release. And what that does is that further disperses the load of every single draw by allowing the bone structure of the arm to take some of the load and then the whole hand as you grip that release. Now understand, this is just a temporary solution you can use to get that elbow pain to calm down. This isn't saying that you have to shoot that type of release forever. Now, if you're a traditional archer and you're shooting by holding on to the string, then you are going to be more reliant on the 4 other tips that I'm going to share coming up. Tip number 2 is to refine your draw mechanic to make sure it is as back dominant as possible. And what I mean by that is we want the larger musculature of the upper back, meaning the shoulder blade, the lat, the trap, to assist in managing most of that draw weight as you pull. What can happen is if you are pulling too much with the forearm, the bicep, the elbow, and the shoulder, then that will funnel too much tension onto the elbow, and as you repeat draw after draw and shot after shot, it can overwhelm those tendons that insert there. So what you're looking for in your draw is to lead that draw with your shoulder blade. It should squeeze towards the spine, down into the opposite back pocket. So it is squeezing, leading that pulling motion, and making sure that that load primarily goes into those upper back muscles. If you are finding that you're driving with just the elbow first, or if you're just shoulder pulling, or even if you're curling and excessively bending the elbow as you draw, again, regardless of your style of archery, that is placing that repetitive load on the elbow tendons opposed to the larger back musculature. Tip number 3 is to use an exercise I like for the draw elbow to not only stimulate healing in the tendons of the elbow, but also to increase the tolerance of what the tendons in the elbow are willing to handle when it comes to repetitive load from shot after shot. And that is a pinch grip with a weight. What that pinch grip does is it engages and loads all of the tendons that funnel down to the elbow on the inside and the outside of the elbow. You can use a variety of different weight implements. Here I have a kettlebell where I take that pinch grip and pinch the kettlebell like so. You're going to hold down by your side with a straight arm. You can also use the handle of a dumbbell or a kettlebell and pinch grip like so and allow that arm to hang by your side with the shoulder set back, arm straight, and just holding that pinch grip. You can use a weight plate. You can even just use books at home where you're going to have to be intentional about squeezing a little bit harder. What you're looking for with this hold is you're looking to hold for approximately 45 seconds and go for 3 or 4 sets of 45 seconds of holding and 45 seconds of rest. Your discomfort there should be approximately a 3 or a 4 out of 10 or less. If you have more discomfort than that, then you need to decrease the amount of weight that you're using. If you have very little discomfort, you can increase the weight a bit. But it's all about spending time under tension to heal the tendons while using that pinch grip and hold, and also to build the tolerance of those tendons as well. Tip number 4 is a simple tip, but it's a valuable one, and it is the tip of getting the entire upper extremity to become stronger. And what I mean by that is we want the upper back, the shoulder blade, the shoulder joint, down into the arm, the elbow, forearm, and finally grip strength to all be strong and capable so that shooting and repetitively drawing isn't as challenging for that elbow. The problem arises when the most challenging thing that elbow sees is archery for an individual. When we engage in resistance training and we get stronger through strength training, all of a sudden that strength training places this amount of demand on the elbow and archery only places this much demand. So it's something that the elbow can tolerate much better. I'll put it to you like this. Picture right now what your elbow can withstand is here, and the amount of stress that's overwhelming the elbow and causing pain is higher than what you can withstand. So if we can build up what your elbow is willing to tolerate and build up what your whole upper extremity can tolerate, all of a sudden that stress that you're feeling is something that you're capable of handling and that you can handle without that pain arising. Now, me describing how to build strength in all of those different parts would take a lot of time and detail, so I'm not going to do it here. But I have a lot of different strength training exercises, tips, and plans on our Instagram page, on this YouTube channel, and then finally the website as well. So look into those to build what you're capable of withstanding so that these overloading issues don't occur any longer. The 5th tip is a tip that you can utilize while you're using the other first 4 tips. And the 5th tip is decreasing the amount of stress that elbow is seeing temporarily so that it can calm down, it can heal, you can load it, make modifications with those first 4 tips, and then you can allow yourself to increase the stress again. What I mean by this is the stress you are enduring comes from the amount of days you're shooting, how many arrows you're shooting, and the draw weight that you're shooting. You can decrease 1, 2, or all 3 of those to decrease the amount of stress that you're placing on that elbow. Think of the stress that your elbow is struggling with as the water level of a lake or a river. And your elbow is the dam that is holding the water back. Right now, the water level, how much you're shooting, your draw weight, your frequency, is above or surpasses what the dam is willing to withstand. So what we want to do is decrease the stress from shooting, bring that water level down, build the dam up with the first 4 tips that I shared, and then you can go back to shooting the frequency, amount of arrows, and the draw weight that you want to see. In some cases, these elbow issues just simply will not go away until you decrease that stress level, build up the elbow in the upper extremity and what it can tolerate, and then reintroduce load back into the equation. I hope you found these tips valuable. Please understand that these tips take time to cause change in the elbow. Elbow pain can be very tricky. It can be very stubborn. So you have to be willing to be patient with this and notice small improvements. This type of pain is not a light switch where one day you have elbow pain and another you don't, like you hit a light switch. It takes time, and it is small incremental steps that will take you from a higher intensity pain to less pain or no pain overall. If you did find this video valuable, hit the like button. That is helpful for me. You can also subscribe to this channel to find more information, education, and helpful tips. Finally, check out the website for full training options or to contact me if I can help you with anything at all. Thank you.